So today's guest says you can have 5-figure months, weeks, and days in your coaching business. And guess what? We're going to get right into that right here on the Sharvette Mitchell radio show. We're excited to have you joining us. We are broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia. Don't you move. We'll be right back after this.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell radio show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell radio show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia. And I'm your host, Sharvette Mitchell, CEO of Mitchell Productions. And we work with female entrepreneurs. Sometimes a few lucky men get sprinkled in to enable them to increase their revenues by focusing on their marketing, their visibility, and their branding. And we do that with one-on-one consulting, with our trademark framework, the platform builder, which is group coaching program, with this outlet, the Sharvette Mitchell radio show, book collaborations, and hosting events. And we are super excited to have you joining us here on this Tuesday. Go ahead and show some love in the comments. If you are live, let us know that you are here. If you are new to our platform, if you are new to watching, type new into the comments so that we can give you some love and shout you out real good. We see some guests that are already coming on in. Welcome, Dana. We're glad to have you. Listen, YouTube is already hot and jumping. We got Kim, we got Deborah, we got Zanla coming on in, welcoming the guests for today. Hello to my mom, who absolutely, we can't do this without her. We're excited because our guest here, Beverly Walthour, is with us. And listen, we are multi-streaming, simulcasting. So we are excited to have her audience joining us as well. Thank you so much. Those that are new and live. I like that. We are glad to have you. We just want to let you know that this particular segment is brought to you by my upcoming 5-day challenge, the Personal Branding Challenge. Free 5 days. You want to join us starting on May 1st, and you can go right there to that link. Who is this for? This is for women entrepreneurs. You're passionate about the services you offer. You're passionate about the transformational services that you have, but what maybe gets you stuck is getting more visibility and getting out there and being seen more by your ideal clients. Well, we want to leverage your personal branding to help you do that. So personalbrandingchallenge.biz is where you would go for that. All right. So listen, I see it's jumping already. Hey, Rita, we are glad to have you. I invite you to go ahead and share this out. Wonderful. Getting a testimonial already. Marcy is saying Beverly is an amazing coach. Yes, she is. And we are excited to have her. Let me go ahead, listen, because she's in the virtual green room, ready to come out, ready to get up this party started and keep this party going. So Beverly Walthour is with us, and she is an award-winning multi-6-figure business strategist. She's a speaker, she's an author, she's a trainer, and she's a consultant. She's the CEO of BCW Business Ventures. Guess what? She was a former TV and radio show host in Atlanta, Georgia. And she was the first African-American woman with her own business radio morning show that in her shows were seen across the globe and heard across the globe. As a business strategist, specifically for Christian female coaches, she uses her P5 framework to help them accelerate their income and impact without compromising their Christian values. She is here today to chat about this amazing topic, how to create 5-figure months, weeks, and days in your coaching business. Put your virtual round of applause and your virtual hands together and welcome Beverly up to the stage. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Sharvette. How are you?
I am doing well. So excited. This is long overdue. My fault. But so glad to just have you here. And thank you for the simulcasting to your audience as well. And so I want to kind of start, like, how did you get here, right? How did you end up here? Where, what was your early path?
Woo, this is a beautiful journey. This is actually, I just celebrated year 16 as an entrepreneur, year 7 specifically as a business strategist.
Okay.
And so, over this time, it has definitely not been a straight, it has not been a straight path. It has not been a straight journey.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade it for anything. So my background actually is in education. So I spent 14 years as a middle school math teacher
Wow.
before I transitioned into doing training and consulting for other companies. And then for this part right here, as the business strategist, I transitioned that into my own business. So it was definitely not a straight path to getting here. But I know that all of that, the experience as the educator, the experience as the trainer, the consultant is what I needed to now get me to this space that I'm here now, 16 years later, 7 years specifically as a business strategist.
Wow. And some people don't last 16 months. Some people don't last 7 months. And so here you are. What would you say, having, looking back, what are the major differences in how you've been able to do business, versus when you started to now?
uh, a lot of it has to do with being sure that you've been called to this, because
Ooh.
entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. When I tell you, there are times, like when I did my post the other day about my entrepreneurial journey, I was like, there are going to be times when you want to give up. I think I want to give up last week, that type of thing. But knowing that this is what I was called to do, I
Mm.
had that thought. I got my little cry, my little tears out, and then I went back to what it was that I knew that I was called to do. And so I think for me now, in this for as long as I've been in it
Yeah.
versus at the very beginning, I'm so much more confident in that knowledge versus when I first started. Because when I first started, especially being in the online space,
Yeah.
7 years ago, there was there's still a lot of noise there. But, and I ended up getting caught up in a lot of that stuff that took me so far away from my core beliefs
Mm.
that I ended up, and I was like, I don't even recognize this person anymore. Like, this is
Ooh.
not what I started off to do and to be. So then I was just trying to figure this thing out. But
Yeah.
now that I've been doing it for a while, for me, having that core knowledge of this is what I've been called to do, that's what the main difference between then and now.
Oh, you said so many nuggets right in there. Um, when you became unrecognizable, or you were looking like who, was it the type of work? Was it the type of customers? What made you look back and say, this is not where I'm called to be?
A lot of it had to do with what I was doing to generate the success. So what I mean by that,
Mm.
it was things like I said that was not aligned to my values, especially specifically as a Christian. And so, like I said, the things that I was doing, the coaches, the people, the groups, the settings that I was in alignment with, I'm like, Bev, you know better than this. Like, this ain't, this is not it. But
Right.
because it appeared as if the success was coming that way,
Mm.
that's why I stayed in it as long as I did. Until, like I said, I got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. And so, like I said, for me, it was just like those things that I was doing, the things that I was saying, the words that I was speaking, the thoughts that I were having, like I said, it was all so contradictory to what I knew. And so for me, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and for me, when I had that literally coming to Jesus meeting,
Yeah.
for me, that was that time where I was like, okay, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore like this, because like I said,
Mm.
it's going to end up burning me out, that type of thing. So I had to have, and I know and understand now, I had to have that moment, even so I can relate to the people that's a part of my audience as well, because they've been there, done that type of thing. And they need to know that, hey, you can make that shift. You can make that change. You don't have to compromise who you are in order for you to create the type of business that you desire to have.
Oh, my sister, I'm telling you, listen, the audience is like, preach, girl. So
Yes.
true. So true. And so, and what I also love, as and those that are just tuning in, hey, you're checking out the Sharvette Mitchell radio show. We're super excited to have you joining us today. Our topic is how to create 5-figure months, weeks, and days in your coaching business. And so you have put a stake in the ground to say you are for Christian coaches. And so you and I were in a setting, and someone kind of challenged, well, should you say faith-based? Should you say, and I spoke up for you,
You
not
did.
really, other, and I said, no, because faith-based can mean a whole lot of things. If you were a Christian and then that. So talk about, did you start out knowing, or did you start out declaring I am for Christian coaches, or did that evolve over the years?
That definitely evolved over the years, and I fought it. My audience knows I'm very transparent. Like, I'm very honest. I fought it because I was like, God, I don't, your people, they look, they got an issue when you talk about money, God, your people. Like, I was just like, God, I can't do this. Your people, they over here people and God, and I can't do it. So it was a transition into this space. And actually it was someone that was like, well, Bev, a lot of your content, you're talking to Christian women, even although it wasn't intentional, that was who I was also drawing as well. To the point where I was like, okay, God, am I supposed to specifically call this group out? Because whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And so for me, I was told to specifically call them out, to show them that, once again, you do not have to compromise your Christian values. And I tell my clients all the time, it doesn't matter who you serve. It doesn't matter if your people are Christian or not. It's about what you do for yourself to prepare yourself to get out here and serve the people. And just like you mentioned, I've gotten that before about, hey, are you sure you want to say that? As a matter of fact, when I made the decision to do it, I had just started working with a coach at the time, and she was like, people are just going to know, you don't have to specifically put the word Christian in there. And I literally went through my copy on my website and scrubbed all of that off my website. Because look, she had the experience, and, I was trying to get to where she was going. And when I tell you the level of conviction that fell on me, to the part where I was like, okay, you know what, God, okay, I got you. And he was like, so he ended up sending me a copywriter that was faith-based, was Christian. She was a Christian copywriter. And so we were able to improve what I had from before. Because I was like, well, God, I just changed it. Now it's going to take me time. He was like, Ben, I got you. Let me send you this person, and you don't have to worry about it. So, we were able to go back and get the copy back. I went back to the coach, and I was like, look, I said, I know this is what he called me to. And she was like, okay, and then we just went on from there. But like I said, so when she told me to do it, she was coming from a space, and I got it. But for me, and this is one of the biggest things, and my clients will tell you this all the time, even as a business strategist, I will say what I feel like the Holy Spirit is leading me to say. I said, but I need you to sit with the Holy Spirit. I need you to know, hey, is this in alignment? Is this what God told you to do? Because I'm not going to do things or tell you to do things or suggest things to you, and it gets you out of alignment with what it is that He has for you. So I'm such a big fan of that. So even, like I said, when people will ask me, well, you don't really have to say Christian, or, when you say that, you're going to, turn people away. And, will you work with people who are not Christian? And even that comment about, well, hey, how do you feel about faith-based? And even like you said something before I did, because once again, just like you said, there are plenty of faiths out there. So for me to go from, it's not the same thing. And so, like I said, I know for me, as I say today, because I am so firm in what it is that He's called me to do, I can stand firm in that, and I'm okay with that, that type of thing. So, and it's still a process. Like I said, even with, as long as I've been doing this, I still, get those comments, which, now I'm used to it. So,
well, listen, and I think that really lends into, I'm sure, the conversation that we're going to have around, this, because clarity is going, I'm sure you're going to touch on that, but I got to capture this comment from Regina. And so I think you're helping her right now. She said, I'm being told that I'm being called out. She was resonating. So evidently, she's saying this is confirmation. So maybe, Regina is going that way. Hey, Miss Shirley, thank you for popping on in. She's got a new book that's coming out that's going to be amazing. So yes, so wonderful, 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 wonderful. Let's look at the confirmation, speaking to the heart of her. Thank you for those that are saying this is confirmation for me and to me, confirmation. So let's get into the topic. And I'm, certainly, whoops, let me make sure my mic, if you can. Okay, great. This certainly is confirmation. So go ahead and take it away and share. I'm just going to let you share. I'm going to actually make the screen smaller and just share, on this topic with us.
And so, so even with this right here, creating, whatever your revenue goal is, there's some things that you definitely want to ensure you have in place. And one of the things, Sharvette, you actually touched on it, and that's that clarity. And when it comes to clarity, there's so many aspects of it. And, so whether or not you're product-based or service-based, having that clarity on how it is that you desire to serve your clients. And one thing I also tell my people as well, even from my own personal journey, a lot of people, they will have this level of guilt as they start to grow and evolve in their business. They realize that, hey, how I used to serve people, I no longer desire to serve them in that capacity. And then there's this guilt there about leaving people behind. But I tell my clients all the time, as you grow and evolve, so will how and who you serve in your business. And that's okay. That is okay. And so having that clarity on how it is you desire to serve your people, who it is that you desire to serve, that also helps you with your marketing messaging as well, because it allows for you to speak specifically to who it is that you've been called to serve, and then being clear on how it is that you have been called to serve those people. So one of the number one things when it comes to that, being able to generate revenue at that level is having that clarity, like I said, on who it is you serve and how it is that you desire to serve. But also, like I said, being open to the fact that as you grow and evolve, so will how you serve your people. And so, specifically with coaching, a lot of my clients, they start off with a one-on-one, but then they realize that that's something where it's easier to scale when you do one-to-many versus one-to-one. And so for a lot of them, but they feel that guilt about leaving it behind. But I'm like, you don't have to leave it behind if you desire to still serve it, one-on-one. It's just the price point of that is going to be higher than what it may look like when you're doing, a group or, courses or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's a part of it. So, having that clarity on how it is that you desire to serve your people, because like I said, it's going to impact how you serve them. So like I said, having that clarity on whether or not you desire to do it one-on-one, whether or not you desire to do it in a group setting, whether or not you desire to do it in a course type of situation, or even a hybrid, do I want to do VIP days? It's so many options that sometimes I don't think people realize, that it's not a one set way of doing it. And that's another thing my clients will tell you all the time. Like, I'm not that advocate of saying, well, hey, you have to only offer group, or hey, you have to only offer high ticket, or hey, you have to, because I'm one of those people, I rebel. I'm like, oh, you're not going to tell me what I have to do. Like that type of thing. Because I'm like, look, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And so, knowing that you have options, I think is also helpful. And my thing is that option of being able to create a business that makes sense for how it is that you desire to serve your people. So it's not a one-stop shop type of thing.
Yeah. So definitely right in there, those that are here and saying, okay, creating, these 5-figure months, weeks, and days, certainly, like you said, and specifically coaching, it could be one-on-one, it could be group, it could be high ticket, it could be a myriad of things. And so for people that are saying, okay, I'm looking to ramp up my revenue, and having that clarity, where would you tell them to kind of look and think next?
Yes. So now ramping up to get to that level. So, we have the clarity on who it is we want to serve and how we want to serve them.
Yeah.
And so the next two parts to that, to being able to generate at that level, is the pricing. And so that's probably the number one reason my clients come to me. And I had, because I told you earlier, because of who I serve, I had to be okay with talking about money.
Yes.
And I feel like, especially specifically as female entrepreneurs, there's some money mindset things that we struggle with, or that we can struggle with. And then me specifically dealing with Christian women, there's a different level of money mindset struggle that goes on. And so, peeling back those layers and getting to the point where, even for me now, I specifically serve established Christian female coaches, because these people, they've had success in their business. But now, to get to that point, they burnt themselves out because they've been all over this internet trying to do X, Y, Z. And they're like, it has to be a different way of doing this. And it's like, yeah, there's a different way of doing it, and, doing it in a way that makes sense for you and how you desire to do it. And so for a lot of my clients, when they come to me, we look at their pricing.
Yeah.
And so, there has to be shifts in your mindset, literally paradigm shifts, and how you look at money and how you view money. Because I tell my clients, we don't want to create a paycheck to paycheck type of situation in our businesses, very similar to what some people may have experienced in their jobs. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And so one of the easiest ways, or let me say easier ways to do it, is to look at your pricing. And so, literally, I have these questions that I literally ask my clients. So it's about 7 questions that I ask them. And by the time we get to question number 3,
you are in my notes. You are in my notes. Like, I had their 7 questions. I had, like, literally, you are in my notes. This is crazy.
Yes. So by the time we get to about question number 3, there's this look on their face, like, first of all, they're like,
Oh,
oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I've been underpricing for so long. So, there may be a little bit of condemnation. I said, no, 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 no.
right.
Like, we can't change anything that happened up until this point. These are all lessons learned. But
Yeah.
now from this point forward, what are we going to do differently? Because I can't change the past, but I can change what I do from this point forward.
Yeah.
And so one of the biggest things I always tell, and I use this phrase, them being able to look at their coaching services through the lens of the transformation. So
Mm.
often they come and they're like, well, hey, it's 12 weeks of coaching, and I meet with them for 60 minutes. Oh, no, 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 no. Because the skills, the tools, the resources that you support them with, they don't disappear after the 12 weeks or the 16 weeks or even the year that
Yeah.
y'all work together. Like, that stuff doesn't disappear. They now have the tools and resources that they can use in their relationship, their career, their leadership, however it is that they support them as a coach. You now have that skill set that you can literally use and take with you. I
Yeah.
tell my clients all the time, like, we can literally break generational curses and establish generational blessings through how we've been gifted and anointed with what it is that we do. Do you see what you do like that through that type of lens of transformation? That part.
Listen, Beverly, the chat is blowing up. YouTube everywhere. I just want to capture just a few of them. The layers have truly been a process. It can keep us in bondage if we allow it. And I wanted to capture that because specifically, what I've also seen women, Christian women have that, well, we should be modest. We shouldn't ask. We should serve. And the men,
Don't have
faith-based
any.
Christian, don't have any of that.
They don't. I remember I was at an event, and this guy was like,
Mm.
yeah, I charge $997 for my membership. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I got women in my community that struggle with whether or not I should charge $27 a month or $47 a month for their membership. And he's over here like, yeah, it's $997 a month or $10,000 that they pay for the year. And
Yeah.
I'm like I said, zero qualms with it. One guy was like, yeah, I just signed this $300,000 contract where I go in one time a month for 3 months to do this training. And so once again, and so, that space. And so,
Mm.
like I said, just for me being able to, I'm like, okay, God, use me as the vessel,
Yeah.
to being able to have these conversations to show them and, cultivate and create these rooms where
Mhm.
specifically these Christian female coaches can be in other rooms with
Yeah.
coaches that are closing revenue at that level. Because
Yeah.
I knew for me, being in a room, I remember being in a program, and that was when I was trying to create my first six figures in my business, for the year. And
Yeah.
I was in this program with someone, and she closed six figures in a week. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, hold on now, wait a minute, God,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this in a year. And but it did something to me mindset
Yes.
wise. It was a shift, a paradigm shift for me when I'm like, whoa, you know what? I'm like, when you're surrounding yourself with other people that are closing revenue at that level, because
Yeah.
my thing is, imagine if I'm closing $100,000 in a week, $100,000 in a month, think about the level of impact you're
Yeah.
now creating closing at that level.
Woo. And so I know there are people saying this is resonating with me. How can I work with Beverly? Please share all of your contact information and all that good stuff.
Yes. So once again, my name is Beverly Walthour. You can find me on all social media platforms, actually under my name. So part of my branding, to be able to find me just under Beverly Walthour. My website is www.beverlywalthour.com. My social media platform of preference is Facebook. That's where I am the most. So over there on Facebook, I also have a Facebook group called
Mm.
Highly Successful Christian Female Coaches and
Yes.
Consultants. And
Wonderful.
so that's where you can mainly find me. And also a program that I'm getting ready to kick off is what I call my sales sprints. So I'm doing one for the month of May. I used to do them inside of my mastermind, the $20,000 program. And
Right.
so we would kick it off with what I would call a sales sprint. And so their goal in that sales sprint was to generate their revenue back. I mean, generate their investment back that they were,
Yeah.
making into the mastermind. And so I've now pulled those sales sprints out from my mastermind, only having it in my mastermind to now offering it as a standalone type of situation. So once again, Christian female coaches specifically can see what it's like to be
Yeah.
in a container with someone that closes $30,000 in a day or $50,000 in a month, like that type of setting. So that's
All
another thing
right.
as well. Yes, ma'am.
Check it out. Check it out. And if you are listening from the podcast version or the talk radio show version, look down below in the notes and show notes, and you'll see all the information there. I wanted to capture Tiffany's comment, who I believe is one of your clients. And she said, I would have never ventured out into different types of audiences without this very structure that Coach Bev teaches. So live, we didn't pay her. She's, live. Coming in right there and just capturing. And another comment here, Teresa said, yes, love working with Beverly. Love it, love it, love it. I love Regina said mindset shift, right? So a lot of this conversation, how to do 5-figure months, weeks, and days is mindset, right? Anything that you say or affirmations or any of that kind of self-talk that you tell clients?
So for me, a lot of mine is rooted in scripture. So, being able to speak that back. But one of the things that I always say that kind of, shifts my perspective and shifts my thoughts, is I always get what I want or something better, or God brings me what I want or something better.
Oh,
because once again, it can be so discouraging, especially when you have your heart set on something and you're thinking it's going to happen and then it doesn't. And then, that disappointment sets in. But I'm like, okay, I know something better. I know something better is coming along, because so that kind of gets you through those disappointments and the frustration and all of those things like that, knowing that something better is coming along.
All right, something better is coming along. We're going to take a very quick station break. We're going to have you relax in the virtual green room and come back with final thoughts and final reflections. Again, if you're just popping on in, you're checking out the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. I am Sharvette Mitchell, and this segment is brought to you by my upcoming personal branding challenge. And here's just a little quick message, and we're going to be back to wrap everything up with Beverly. I wanted to take time and just record this because I want to applaud you for realizing that it's time to get off of the sidelines, that it's time to stop hiding behind your brand. And I want to applaud you because you realize that your expertise is needed in the marketplace. Your customers are looking for you. They're looking for your transformational services. And this challenge is going to help you with positioning, authority in your market, and visibility. And so I'm really excited that you are taking part in this challenge, and I look forward to working with you as a part of this challenge. Go ahead and complete the sign-up form, and we're going to get started and get into it. All right, there is your personal invitation from moi, and I'll be working with you directly in the 5-day challenge. And so if you're saying, yeah, I know that my personal branding is something that I need to work on and putting myself out front as the brand, because that's what you are, then join us over in this complimentary personal branding challenge. All right, let's bring our guests back up as we get ready to kind of wrap things up, final thoughts and questions. And just want to capture this. Rita, God always gives me something better. Listen, that right there. You can chew on that. Listen, Gwen is saying I must go back and listen from the beginning. That's such a great point. Sharvette.com is one of the great places to listen. And then anywhere you're currently watching, you can go right back to that video and watch it. That was good right there. And so the goal of this show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate Beverly.
One of the biggest things is knowing that I'm walking out my purpose. I always knew, even from a little girl, that I was supposed to teach. Like, I knew I was going to be a teacher in some capacity. And so what I did not know, though, was that it would evolve into what I'm currently doing now. And knowing that this is just a part of the process, that, it's going to be something else as well. And so knowing that I'm walking and operating in my purpose, like, that is the biggest motivator for me. Like I said, when those days where I'm like, you know what, God, you can have all this, and, I'm going back to do X, Y, Z. I've said, I can be a greeter at Walmart if you need me to be, whatever you need me to be. But just knowing that I'm walking and operating in my purpose, that's the biggest thing. And like I said, knowing that I get to impact the lives of other people is also another powerful motivator for me.
Yeah. And thank you, Pat, who is in this Christian field as well. This was an on-time message. I'm glad that this captured you right where you needed to be. One more time, how can people connect? How can people work with you? All that good stuff.
Yes, so thank you again. Once again, I'm on all social media platforms under my name, Beverly Walthour, or you can go to my website, www.beverlywalthour.com. My social media platform of preference is Facebook. So you'll see me all day, every day over there on Facebook, just chit-chatting with the people. And I do also have a Facebook group called Highly Successful Christian Female Coaches and Consultants. So if you guys do decide to connect with me, just shoot me a message and let me know, hey, I saw you over there on Sharvette's show. I would love to know how you connected with me. And then once again, for the month of May, I am doing what I call my May 5-figure sales spread. So if you're interested in learning more about that for established coaches, definitely feel free to reach out to me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being such an engaging guest and also simulcasting to your audience. We appreciate you, and we're just going to keep our eye out on you.
Thanks so much for the invitation, Sharvette.
Oh, you are welcome. You are welcome. Whoa. Okay. So like Gwen said, I need to go back and listen to that from the beginning. And so I invite you to do that. We endeavor to bring guests that are amazing and bring amazing content to you. And so that it'll help you shift, right? It'll help you change and navigate in this entrepreneurial space. And so I've been your lovely, wonderful host, Sharvette Mitchell, CEO of Mitchell Productions Consulting, where we work with female entrepreneurs. Sometimes a few lucky men get sprinkled in to help them generate more revenue by focusing on their marketing, their visibility, and their branding. And we do that with one-on-one consulting, with our trademark framework, the Platform Builder, which is in our 12-month program, with this show, the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, with book collaborations. I've got some of my co-authors here. If you're a co-author in any of our past 5 books, type co-author in the chat. And then also we host conferences and events. And I invite you again, as this is the sponsor for this segment, upcoming 5-day challenge starts May 1st. Personalbrandingchallenge.biz is where you can go and see all of the great information and sign up there. And as we get ready to wrap up, let me just capture some comments. I was just about to say the very same thing. On Miss Shirley, I know this was on time for you. Thank you, Tiffany, for being here and being engaged. Many continued blessings for everyone. So good. I agree, Teresa. So good. Thank you, Sharon, for being here as well. Yes, Rita's a co-author. Thank you for being here. One of our co-authors. Patricia is one of our co-authors. Thank you so much, everyone. It is a wrap. We will see you on the internet and these internet streets and all that good stuff. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.